Hi, I'm Dee Woods from Nova Lunchbreak, weekdays from 1. There's no escaping it. Panto season is upon us. And Rapunzel is now on at the Gaiety Theatre until January 21st, 2018. One of its main stars is Johnny Ward. You might know him from Love Hate. You might know him from Fair City. That storyline we thought would never end. Your man who had your one locked up, Kieran and Katie. Well, Johnny dropped into the Nova Lunchbreak studio a few weeks back to talk about that gruelling Fair City schedule, the Panto one too, and the amount of people who've stopped him in the street thinking he really is Kieran from Fair City. Scary. And it all started off very rock and roll because he biked in his leathers.
Nova.
It is pretty Nova, isn't it?
It's very
Having
Nova.
the bus in.
Can we hear? I was going to say we might be able to hear the leather at some point during this interview squeaking along. I actually, and I mean this as a compliment, I'm not as intimidated as I thought I'd be talking to you, Johnny, because, you know...
Oh, I can be intimidating.
Well, I know, I've seen it on the telly.
Why did you think I was going to be?
Well, you're always so evil. Everything I see you
I
in.
know. I don't know what that's about. It's just... It's not, yeah, I don't know. So I had this conversation with someone earlier on. They said, I saw you in Dollhouse and then I saw you in Love Hate and I saw you in Fair City.
Yeah.
Why are you always such a horrible chap like? And I was like, I'm not though. And then they see the Lion's Tea advert on as well in between. Have you seen the one with the factory? We're walking around like, what talk are we putting in the tea today?
Is that you?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So they're like, oh right, okay. So, you know, and that's why I like to do panto and things like that, to try and be a nice guy for a change. Because yes, the majority of roles that I go for, I just seem to get the bad guy all the time.
Well, that just means you're a good actor, obviously, then, if you're not evil in real life. You're convincing us all you are.
Well, yeah, we'll go with that.
So Panto's next on the horizon, Rapunzel at the Gaiety for
Do you know what?
Christmas.
It's actually that's next, but this week has been mental. It's been crazy. We were shooting a music video last night for the band Red Empire, myself and Rachel Tracy, and it was it's all the proceeds are going towards like homeless organisations and stuff like that.
Wow!
It's a song called "Merry Christmas to You," and it's like it pretty much focuses on a homeless couple, and you know they're kind of horrible nights living in Dublin, especially around Christmas. And you know, talking about the Gaiety Theatre, yes, it's fun and yes, it's great, and for all the kids to go up and see the show, but there's always one thing that breaks your heart every year, and it's always seeing the homelessness outside. It's horrible, especially when the snow comes down as well, and it makes people, you know, really aware of it, and that's what we want to do with that song. And then there's another film that I filmed this week called Tides, which we filmed out in Bray, and it's directed by Zoe Kavanagh, obviously now for doing Demon Hunter. She won a few awards for that, and it's written by Chloe Niduda. So it's all that, and that was kind of grim doing those two things. So that's why I'm just, you know, I'm free now, and I'm looking forward to starting rehearsals for Rapunzel in the Gaiety Theatre on Tuesday. We start rehearsals then, and I can't, just because it's different.
Yeah,
and also
certainly for you. Yeah,
with that role of Kieran Holloway, because we were stuck in the box in Fair City, and also, you know, with Clan of the Cave Bear and say Love Hate as well. You know, it's not that it's great, and I love, and if I have to say, if I have like a preference, it is film and TV. I much prefer it, but sometimes you just want to use your energy and you know, run around and act like a 10-year-old kid again, and jump up and down, run around, and you know, scream as loud as you can, and swing across the stage and interact with the parents and the kids. And I can't wait for it. I really can't.
You'll certainly be using your energy. It's on from the 26th of November till the 7th of January 2018.
And there's an extension. We get an extension every year, and I think there's rumour that it could be on till the 21st of January this year. But we've 3 days off. For the whole thing.
Christmas, I presume. Christmas
Eve, Christmas Day, and then I think the first bank holiday in December or something like that.
Back on the stage with you. Now, are you good a guy? Is Johnny Be Good? That's your character in Rapunzel. Is he a good guy?
Well, yeah, I know he is. Yeah, he's kind of like the prince.
Oh, good, okay.
And we had the read through last week, and Darren Crosby, he was kind of giving us all notes, and I don't know really, because he just said to me, he was like, Johnny, just kind of be yourself, kind of hyper energetic, kind of mad thing. Right. And but that's the only kind of direction he's given me, so that's pretty cool. Like
any panto I've ever seen, that's how they are on stage. I think they're good to go.
So I'm really, I think, you know, when you concentrate on I watched Tangle there last week for the first time, and I was like, Flynn Rider is the guy, but and I thought that was the part that I'd be playing, but no, Johnny Be Good. So I'm looking forward to it, and also the fact that they've never done Rapunzel and the Gaiety. We got really excited in 2014.
Have they not?
No, they've never done it in the history of the Gaiety. And also they said that they haven't done it in any of the kind of main theatres in Ireland, which I'm not too sure about. But it's a good feeling. Like, I know, like we don't, like Cinderella and Snow White and all that kind of stuff. It's been done, and Beauty and the Beast and stuff, Jack and the Beanstalk. But when we did Peter Pan back in 2014, there was a really good, we can make this something. And the first time we're going to see flying and the Gaiety and stuff, with Peter Pan. And it's the same sort of feeling with this. And working with Darren Crosby, the director, every year he always takes risks, and we always look at the script and we think there's so much things, especially in the second half, what he's doing with Rapunzel's hair, and we look at him and go, that's not going to work. But
brilliant.
he always makes it work.
So it's going to look proper.
It looks
if you're watching.
Yeah. He's
and
got
I know
a great vision.
There's always a few jokes in for the older people who are
course,
taking the little people. So there's something for everybody in Rapunzel.
There is, yeah. I mean, someone like Joe Conlon or Nick Rennell, they'll probably have a few of the adult jokes, which will just slip right over the kids' heads.
That's what we want.
That's what we want.
Actually, this sounds good to you and you want to go see Rapunzel at the Gaiety. As we say, it runs from the 26th of November till the 7th of January. Text me and tell me now why you want to go and if you want to go. 087 18 18 100. You will be used to people shouting at you, though, from doing Panto and from also when you were Kieran in Fair City.
Yeah.
Didn't you get beaten up in the street? Old ladies, handbags and all that kind of thing?
I didn't get beaten up on the street.
Attacked.
I got in Grafton Street last April. I got spat on. A little kid came over and goes, "Here, you Polly from Fair City?" And I went,
"It's marrying two together."
Yeah. And then his mum was across the road and she was like really into it. And he says, "My mum wants to know." And I said, "Oh, I am, yeah." And then the kid spat on my hand. And I went,
"What on earth?"
I looked at his mum, was like, "What the?" And she was going, "Yeah, we're all bleeding sick of that storyline. You have to let that girl go now. All right, let her go. We're sick of it." And then the other time, that's a bit kind of scummy, that. But the other time, which was a bit funny, was when I was going down to see a few of my girlfriend as well. She was down in the Cork Opera House doing the Panto that year. They were doing Cinderella last year. And I was looking at my D's. I was running late and I was like, oh no. So I went into this petrol station in the middle of nowhere and pulled in, and it was just me. And then this other car came in and this woman got out of the car and she goes, "Are you him?" And I went, "Kieran, is it?" "Yeah, just wait there 1 second. Do you mind? And I said, no. She goes, "Just wait there 1 second." So she went over to Big Henry, who was sitting driving the car, and she goes, "Henry, give me my bag, quick." She got the bag and started smacking me across the head with it.
She didn't.
I swear to God. And I went, "Oh my God." And she goes, "You're going to have to let that girl go now. All right." And she was like, my grandchildren are having nightmares about you and stuff. And then I was like, oh God. And then, out of fear, I ran over to my car, and because it was Christmas as well, I slipped on the ice.
No.
And her and Big Henry had a great old laugh. And out of fright, I left the petrol station and parked around the corner for about 10 minutes and then went back in.
You poor thing.
Yeah, it was more embarrassing than anything else. Yes, I let a woman in her mid-60s beat the hell out of me.
You waited while she got her implement and then came back.
I had to, because I was really like in the middle of it. You know when you take a slip road and you haven't a clue where you're going, that yellow light is on, your petrol, and I go, no, what am I going to do? So it was,
Jesus.
And then there's been other times where, I get like messages, and any time like someone who's a fan of, say, Love, Hate or Fair City, they message and go, "Oh, listen, my son's a huge fan of the show," or something like that. "Will you come out and visit," or something? So, I did once, and it was around in Green Hills, and I went out, and the woman who I knew, like, she failed to tell me that her niece was there, who has been having nightmares of me kidnapping her.
Oh, and you called to her house.
She thought it'd be a great idea if the niece answered the door. I had no clue about this, and the poor girl just went, just ran upstairs, and just,
you're her worst nightmare coming knocking.
Yeah.
They don't have that in the small print of your contract, I'm sure, in the Fair City.
But I love this, and
but it worked. I never, and to be fair, like, all cards on the table here, I wasn't watching Fair City until this was just taken off. The petitions and the hashtag Free Katie and Free the Carrickstown one and everything. I started watching because of that.
Yeah. And so many people,
you were very
petitions
scary.
and all that kind of stuff being signed up.
That's what you want, though.
But Fair City were laughing, and they were going, "This is exactly what we want. We're getting the views."
Yeah.
Do you know that when the reveal of Katie, when it was established that it was me who had her, it was trending number one above the US election from Ireland. And that is just baffling. Like, it was crazy. But, I love doing this, and I love doing what I do. And it was like, to play a role like Kieran Holloway, it was brilliant. I wouldn't like to play any other role in Fair City. I loved that role. I really did. Is he returning? We don't know. It might be sometime next year as well.
So he may be dead or he may be alive. We don't know.
I don't think he's dead. I think it would be a terrible shame if he was dead. But the question is, how are you going to get him back into Carrickstown, having a pint with Emmett in McCoy saying, remember that time I robbed your sister? But no, I do. I love doing what I do and all these different roles. I'll give you a laugh. This was 2014, talking about Panto. I just finished Peter Pan, and you know when you just have one of those days and you wake up and it's cold, the heating's not on, and then it's something like you get a bill through the post from ESB, then you get a phone call from the parents and something's not right, then you have a fight with one of your friends, then the girlfriend's on your back about something that you've done, you're like, oh, what have I done? So it's one of those days, and then you're out of petrol, so going to a petrol station, I always have these
this happens a lot
mad things at the petrol station, low on diesel, and there was this car behind me, beep, beep, beep. This big lad kind of behind me. Beep. Shaking his head. Beep, beep, beep. So I said, okay, I'm going to pay for the petrol. And then I went in, paid for the petrol. Just about to start the car. Beep, beep, beep. And I thought to myself, and then in the meantime, I got another message. Where are you? From my father or whatever. I was like, if he beeps one more time, I'm going to get out and I'm going to scream at him. And I'm going to swear at him. And I'm going to shout nothing but dog's abuse at him. Beep, beep, beep. And I went, right, that's it. Open the door, turn around and said, in front of the carriage, right? What is it? What is it? What the do you want? What is it? And he's turned around and he goes, my son is in the back. He just wants to know, are you Peter Pan? And the whole garage heard it, and I went, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Went over. Of course, the kid is in the little baby seat in the back, and I said, I'm so sorry. No, go away. You're a rude
That
man.
kid is going to spend his life in therapy. You do realise this?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Horrible.
So maybe you are a bit evil after all, actually.
No, it was just one of those days. It was just that, you know that.
Yeah, Tony Mondetta had one of those days. I mean, they've all had one of those days.
I just thought he was going to say, you've been sitting there for 5 minutes in the petrol and stuff. But as soon as he said, my son, in a little high chair in the back, he wants to know, are you Peter Pan?
Oh, God.
So, yeah.
It's an actor thing, I'm sure. You know, your emotions are close to the surface.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Right, let's skip over
We'll
that.
blame it on that.
And just say, anyone who's going to see Rapunzel, and if you do see Johnny outside, he will be lovely to you and be very welcoming.
Absolutely.
Gaiety.
Absolutely.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
We got to talk before we let you go, because you are on your leathers and we're here at Radio Nova. And I don't know if you can fit listening to music into your very busy schedule.
Yes.
But what kind of music are you into? Anything we play here?
Do you know what? I've got a really, really weird, messed up love of music.
Okay.
The last gig that I went to was the Red Hot Chili Peppers, just gone about 3 or 4 weeks ago.
A rescheduled one, yeah.
Yeah, and the one before that would have been Aslan. That's actually how I met the lads Red Empire who were supporting them that night for the video. And then the one before that was Slipknot.
Yeah,
Slipknot
I see where you're going.
up in Belfast. Yeah. And I don't know, I just love all sorts of music.
You like it loud, I think.
I love it loud, but then I love... do you know who I went to see actually live? And it was hands down the best gig I've ever been to in my life. And I think I actually have the CD in my bag. Rachel, my girlfriend, she took me to the National Concert Hall to see my all-time favourite singer, David Gray. Yeah. I love him. I've always loved him. I've always wanted to see him live. And it was just gone in September. And he started doing all this... He started using stuff with a loop pedal, and he was playing like Babylon. You know Babylon?
Oh, yeah,
and
huge.
He was revisiting the song and adding in extra lyrics towards the end, like sort of how he feels about it now. And I was turning around to Rachel going, this is gold. I've never heard this. You need to record this. You need to record this. She goes, I can't record it now. So I went, at the end of the concert, they were like, if anyone would like to purchase a CD of tonight's show, because that's what they're doing now.
Yeah.
And I have not stopped playing it. But from that... listen, I used to be a punk rocker. I used to love Green Day and Blink-182 back in the day. But then I'd love the heavy metal stuff as well. I used to love Robbie Williams as well. Guilty pleasure is Roxette, believe it or not.
I think Robbie, you're guiltier for liking Robbie than Roxette, to be honest.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Really?
He's an awful dope.
I don't know. Is he? Have you met him?
I've not met him. I've no time for him.
No. Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think, well, maybe not the Robbie now, and not like since. I'm talking about like.
He had a heyday, that's for sure.
Yeah. I'm talking like pre-2005 sort of thing. Thought all that kind of stuff.
When he did Slane and stuff, he was huge,
yeah,
of course.
Was amazing. Yeah, it was amazing.
But that's funny you should say that about David Gray, because I know Freddie Mercury always used to say that about live shows, and when people gave out if they deviated any way off the music. But that's what he was there to deliver. He's like, I'm not going to just rehash a CD for you. I'm going to do it live again.
I just loved
so you're loving that. Yeah, and that is a great idea to sell.
And it was just him. It was just him on a solo and just using a loop pedal, and then he had a guy playing the double bass, just the two of them. And I just kept, Keith and Rachel beside me going, you need to record, and writing down the lyrics and stuff,
Oh, yeah, you're loving it.
I just loved it. And I don't think anyone can revisit a song like the artist who wrote it themselves. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't know, like a lot of his music just reminds me of a teenager growing up, and it obviously means a lot to you, and revisiting that, I just loved the way he did that. I really did.
I love the way, I totally agree. Any live venue or live artist that you love, you just feel it in your soul and your belly. You can't recreate that anywhere else, listening anywhere else. Well, from Slipknot up north to David Gray at a piano in the concert hall, you do have a spectrum, a broad range of love for music.
No, definitely I would. And then now and again, if I'm, for for some of the parts that I've played in the past, like in Dollhouse. Dollhouse is a film written and directed by Kirsten Sheridan, Jim's daughter, and for that, like, I was playing a right little, scumbag cokehead, and for that kind of thing, we were all kind of getting and listening into like the Scooter and all kind of old school.
Just get into the zone,
and I kind of got into it.
This is
actually kind of cool.
Scooter so fast, give you migraine.
Yeah.
Is that the one with Sean Penn?
No, that's a film called This Must Be the Place.
Oh yes, okay.
Which was pretty cool. And do you know what? I met him not so long ago as well. Didn't think he'd remember me, and he came. We did a thing called the Clan of the Cave Bear. Clan of the Cave Bear was this a pilot which flopped completely. Fox TV were behind it, and Linda Wolverton wrote it. Who wrote The Lion King? Ron Howard produced it.
Go away.
Pierre Morel, who directed Taken, he directed, and we were like,
this can't lose.
You can't lose. Yeah. We signed contracts potentially to the year 2020 to live in LA and South Africa. It was all done. It was amazing. Paying us a bomb, living like,
Lion Kings.
5-star celebrities. It was amazing. That's how we felt. And then the whole thing flopped, and it's back to square one again. But when we were over there, Charlie McKenna was in it as well, who's from Ripper Street, and also Aidan McCardle as well, two other Irish actors. And when we went over, and we're living in hotels with the likes of Ron Howard and anyway, Sean Penn and Charlize Theron and Sacha Baron Cohen were doing a few pickups of the film that they've done in the past. And he came over and he was so lovely, and he was just
lovely,
like, "Hey, John, what's up? Well, what are you doing here?" I was like,
Ron
Howard. Ron Howard.
Was this before or after Fair City?
Before.
Oh, so it's a good thing that it didn't work for us then.
This was directly opposite, or after I finished Peter Pan. And I just got an audition from my agent, Ali Coffey Casting. Went in, didn't even read the script, looked at it, and if I'm honest, I thought it was brutal. I just went, these 4 lines, that's the audition. Then they did something else because it was a Neanderthal drama.
Okay.
They wanted me to go in and or they wanted everyone to be natural, and because I didn't read it, I just thought it was natural. They were like, yeah, bring that guy back, and they were like, bring that guy back. I was like, right, for the 4th audition, we're just going to do a conference call or whatever it is with 4 or 5 people. This is Ron. I was like, Ron here, Ron Howard. I was like, Ron Howard? He's on the phone. Yeah. Okay. How you doing? Hi, John. We just want you to play this. I go, I really need to read this script.
Probably should have a look at it. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was about a Cro-Magnon girl called Isla. They actually made a film about it in the 1980s, starring Daryl Hannah.
Okay.
And yeah, I never heard of it.
She's good and earthy. I'd say she was good at that. Yes,
she was brilliant. Yeah.
But, God, you're all over the shop.
The whole thing.
It's a big CV.
And do you know what the thing about it is? They put something like, and this is no word of a lie, they put something like 22 million into the pilot for 45 to the pilot.
That's astounding.
No word of
That's
a lie.
LA. The rumours are true. Everything you hear about it.
It's just crazy.
And then you come back here to, I know Fair City, you've said before, rigorous schedules and low budget, and you're doing your best. But I guess they get the best out of you as an actor. You really,
absolutely,
you're killing yourself. And you're doing your best.
I mean, I'll say it again, and a few people are like, oh, why did you go into something like Fair City when you're in love hate? Because it's hands down for any actor in this country. I don't care what anyone says. There's no other job for an actor in this country which is more stable, peace of mind, and financially secure as there is with Fair City. And I've got nothing but complete admiration and respect for every actor in there. And there's so many actors that go in there. This is the things that you don't hear. There's so many actors that go in there and really, you know, high name, really well established actors that can't deal with the pressure. It is really tough, and
Can't
it's
hack
really
it,
difficult
and they
to switch
leave.
off. They leave.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh no, and it's always no. I want to get back into a bit more theatre. I want to go and do something else. And it's, you know, and I know who those people are. Other people know who those people are, and it's really, really tough.
They actually just couldn't hack the
The
pace.
schedule is crazy. It's really, really crazy, and it's, you know, it's not all the time, but I've nothing but for admiration for anyone who's done it.
There's no doubt about it. When the Katie storyline was coming to a crescendo, you could see the beads of sweat on your faces, and everything was real.
It was real.
We were feeling it. Yeah, well, we might see you again. Then who knows? We're not saying no.
Fingers crossed.
Okay,
I go
interesting.
back, if I'm honest, right now, and well, obviously not now. In the next kind of 3 or 4 months.
You're busy. Rapunzel.
Yeah, and you know, I've been on check for a few things and a few plays in UK and stuff. Something theatre, going back into like theatre would be something that I'd like to do. It's been 2012 since the last time I toured with a proper play.
Right.
So it would be something I'd like to do. But look, if Fair City, if it came there, I'd hand down go back in a heartbeat, easily.